I've always considered myself a skeptic. Legends and myths of the supernatural never resonated with me until I arrived in this remote village surrounded by a forest whispering ancient secrets. My name is James, and I was here to visit my uncle, who had recently moved here for peace and solitude. The first night passed uneventfully, but the next day, as I decided to walk through the forest, I felt I was not alone. The rustling of leaves, the barely audible whisper of the wind, and the sudden feeling that someone, or something, was watching me. At first, I dismissed it, attributing everything to my imagination. But when I saw those eyes, fiery and piercing, staring at me from between the trees, my heart froze. I ran, I don't know for how long. When I finally stopped, finding myself on the edge of the village, I understood that what I had seen was not human. It was something else, and it was real. I returned home but said nothing to my uncle, fearing he would think me insane. That night, as the full moon hung low in the sky, I heard a terrible howling. It was unlike any sound that any animal I knew could make. It was something ancient, something wild, and it was getting closer. My heart was pounding so fast I could barely breathe. I got up and approached the window. The moon bathed the village in its pale light, and I saw shadows moving unnaturally between the houses. I held my breath as one of the shadows detached from the others and headed straight for my house. I felt the blood drain from my face as the shadow transformed into a huge, muscular creature with sharp ears and glowing eyes. A werewolf. It stood there, motionless, as if studying the house. I felt my body enveloped in ice when it slowly raised its head and looked straight at me. I knew it saw me, despite the distance and darkness. I stepped away from the window, my heart ready to leap out of my chest. I didn't know what to do, whether to run and hide or to stay and hope it would leave. But I knew one thing: this night would change my life forever. And then I heard a scream. Not a howl, but a human scream, desperate, painful. It came from beyond the walls of my house, from the darkness that enveloped the village. I approached the window again, and what I saw made my heart stop. The village was full of creatures like the one standing in front of my house. They moved between the houses, their eyes glowing like coals in the darkness, and the screams. The screams were everywhere. I realized that these were not just werewolves. This was something more. It was a curse that had brought ancient legends to life, and now it had come for me.